Warriors. The Warriors might not even make it to the finals in their record-breaking historical season. So whether the Warriors then come back to advance or not does not matter to me ultimately. I'm not necessarily cheering against the Warriors. I just want, if the Warriors are to win it all this year, combining that with the fact that they won the championship last year, it would be a back-to-back title, and that in that between time, they broke the record for best regular season ever. That's a huge, putting those three elements together are guarantee you a very, very significant place in sports history, legendary, epic, all-time great status. And if you are going to accomplish that feat and, be in those conversations, I just want to see you earn it as much as possible. That's all. And so that's why I've held the stance from, day one of this season that I'm not cheering against the Warriors at any point in time. I just want to have to see them earn it. The regular season isn't quite as impressive to me as, maybe it is to some other people. I'm not trying to take away from it. It's still extremely impressive. But it doesn't hold a ton of weight, in my opinion. But like I said, you put that in between two championships, and all of a sudden you're talking, one of the best teams ever. And if you're going to be in that conversation, you got to earn it. So by earning it, you play the best competition that is available, in your league at that time to you at their full strength. That's all I've wanted to see from day one. Whoever they go up against in the Western Conference Finals, whether it's the Thunder or the Spurs, I want them to be firing on all cylinders and healthy and giving the Warriors the best basketball that they can give. And then if the Warriors advance, I'm totally cool with that. Same within the finals last year. And that is mainly where I've had that opinion this whole time, is how the finals played out last year, with the Cavs being up 2-1, but having their roster just decimated with injury by the time the series was over, only being able to go like 6-7 deep in a lot of games, which is unheard of. But I want the Warriors' conference finals opponents to be healthy and firing on all cylinders, and same with the finals opponent, which right now is going to be the Cavaliers, and they totally fit that bill. They're firing on all cylinders and they're healthy. So if the Warriors end up winning it, then they've earned that spot in history to me, and I'm totally cool with it. But I don't want to have any asterisks. I don't like asterisks. So that's why my criteria is the way it is. But that's anyway. That's where we're at with the playoffs. Regular season awards were handed out since the last time we talked. Steph Curry was named the regular season MVP unanimously. I want to say the first time ever that has happened. It didn't even happen with Michael Jordan in any years or anything like that. As statistically impressive as Steph Curry's season was, and his team's, if you look at the more, advanced statistics designed to measure value with plus minus and things like that, one could argue that Steph Curry is not even in the top 3. LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, and Kawhi Leonard, quite frankly, although I would still put Curry above Kawhi Leonard in an MVP race personally, although Kawhi did win back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year awards this year. I think you take Westbrook off of the Thunder and they're not a whole lot of anything. And I think if you take LeBron off of the Cavs, they're not a whole lot of anything. But we have seen that you take Curry off of the Warriors, they're still a damn good team. They have a ton of talent, and they're extremely deep, and they're well coached, and they're veterans just entering the primes of their career, and they still win games and can contend for a championship without Steph Curry. I'm not trying to take anything away from Steph Curry. I'm just saying he's in a way better situation than all these other guys that we're talking about. And it's it's being in that situation that allows him to flourish and overachieve. Now, where I think we could fix all of this is if we could do like the NFL does. If we could do like the NFL does and have an Offensive Player of the Year award. Like, we already single out Defensive Player of the Year award. Why do we then not have an Offensive Player of the Year award? We just go straight to MVP. Like, that's also the Offensive Player of the Year award. Now, let's have a specific Offensive Player of the Year award that Steph Curry would have hands down unanimously won this year. But then let's get more back to the real meaning and definition of the MVP award, and that is the guy who makes the biggest difference and impact on his team. And I'm sorry, Steph Curry, but you're top three in that conversation right now, in my opinion. I would put both LeBron James and Russell Westbrook ahead of you in that discussion, and I would confidently lock you in at number 3. But your team can still win the championship trophy if you blow your ankle or knee out in the next game on Sunday and don't play again for the rest of this playoffs. Your team's that good. It can still go on to win the championship. Westbrook's team? No, they don't win another game. They don't even compete in another game. LeBron James' team? Same thing. I don't think they even compete in another game. But I don't have a vote, so hence Steph Curry winning the award unanimously, first time ever. And I mean, and good for him. Like I said, I'm not trying to take anything away from his season. You look at his numbers; they're out of this world, and his team won more games than anyone ever has. But that still doesn't mean he's the most valuable player. We've got to stop taking these shortcuts to thinking when it comes to handing out the biggest sports awards and just simply go, well, which team was the best team and who's the best player on that best team? That's the MVP. Oh, man. Not going to go there. We've done it before. But anyway. But in good basketball news that makes us happy, here in Minnesota, our new favorite basketball player, the Big Cat, Karl Anthony Towns, was also the unanimous winner of his award for Rookie of the Year, and it should have been unanimous. He won every single Rookie of the Month award throughout the entire season, so can't imagine why anyone else would have gotten a vote for Rookie of the Year, but he is absolutely the real deal. Much more so than Andrew Wiggins. We will talk more Wolves off-season moves and what I'd like to see them do in future episodes. But for this week, we'll just stick to the news that we haven't covered yet. A, Big Cat winning Rookie of the Year unanimously, deservedly so. Way to go, Big Cat. And then B, the Minnesota Timberwolves finding out that they will be picking 5th in the upcoming NBA draft. The Philadelphia Sixers were the winners of the first pick, and now the debate can begin, similar to last year, over who should be selected with the first pick. The two names that are, the candidates from now moving forward are the projected first overall pick moving forward throughout all of the college basketball season, that being Ben Simmons from LSU, small forward / power forward / maybe even center, who knows. But if you've caught my little bit of college basketball talk on him throughout the college basketball season, the reason that there was such little of it is because his team didn't make the tournament. And if you're playing for LSU in a major conference and you're the consensus number 1 player, in the upcoming NBA draft, shouldn't you at least be good enough to get your team into the tournament? That's a big question to me. And then I sat down and watched him play multiple games this year, and nothing about him at all looked to me like an NBA player. He looked every bit like a dominant college player. The guy that he reminds me of, who Ben Simmons is going to translate into an NBA? I'll tell you right now, don't pick him. Ben Simmons will be a bust. He is the equivalent of Michael Beasley, maybe with less marijuana smoking. I don't know what Ben Simmons' personal lifestyle choices are like. But mark my words, Ben Simmons will be a bust, very similar to Michael Beasley. So in my opinion, then the other player who should be taken number one instead, but as of right now, most people are projecting will go 2 to the Los Angeles Lakers, and 2 was apparently the most coveted spot according to most GMs in this draft lottery process. Anyway, is small forward Brandon Ingram out of Duke. I think, again, there's plenty of bust potential with him as well, but I think he's got obvious athleticism and skill and character and basketball IQ that, those things all make you willing to take the chance on the potential, whereas Ben Simmons just, man, I'm telling you, he's not going to get any better, and he's not that good right now, not on an NBA level whatsoever. We'll skip players here, maybe just T-Wolves a tiny bit, but Boston Celtics will be picking 3rd, Phoenix Suns will be picking 4th, and then the Minnesota Timberwolves will be picking 5th. I think the main players to keep an eye on them right now would be point guard out of Providence, Chris Dunn, point guard / shooting guard Buddy Hield out of Oklahoma, not Jaylen Brown, not Dragan Bender. Where's the other guy? No! What are you doing? Stupid freaking touchscreen. Not Henry Ellison. Jamal Murray, guard out of Kentucky. I think those are your 3 primary guys that you're looking for the T-Wolves to draft if they keep their first-round pick or if they trade within the first round, but still have a first-round pick, a lottery pick. I think those are the 3 guys that they're targeting mostly. Guard Jamal Murray from Kentucky, guard Buddy Hield from Oklahoma, and guard Chris Dunn from Providence. And just like that, Ball's dribble is done, and we are moving on. We will get a real quickie in here with football, as there's very little NFL football news to report. So we'll cross that off the list simply by reminding you that if you are needing Vikings-related or football-related content to satisfy your football fan fix here in these early summer months, do us all a solid and visit VikingsDigitalDiaries.com every week, and do so immediately after listening to this podcast to hear my interview from the other day with new Minnesota Vikings running back and Duluth native C.J. Ham. And then while you're there, scroll down the site and listen to some of my last couple weeks' interviews with Troy Stoudemire Jr., new Viking, as well as new Viking 6th-round draft pick tight end David Morgan II. And that's all we're talking for football this week. Just more plugs. Yeah, baby. All right. Well, let's continue here with getting some of our quickie topics out of the way and save, the last 1 or 2 meatier tidbits for the end before getting to Ball's deep thought of the day. Yeah, we might trim this up at 90 minutes here. We might be able to do this all right. But anyway, we'll keep the news in Minnesota here, where, as I mentioned at the top of the show, the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers athletic program has finally named a new athletic director. They hired Mark Coyle, Coyle. Mark Coyle is the new athletic director at the University of Minnesota. He comes here from Syracuse, which, just granted, I didn't look a ton into it, but when I think of the University of Syracuse over the past 5 to 25 years, I definitely don't think of, institutional integrity when it comes to their athletic programs by any standpoint. And then considering what the Gophers have gone through here in the recent past to get to this point of needing a new athletic director, to me, you'd want to bring in someone that just isn't, doesn't even have association with any kind of, dirty programs, dirty activities, anything like that. But as far as I could tell, Mark Coyle's hands himself, are fairly clean from his time at Syracuse. And actually, looking more into it, Mark Coyle didn't spend much time at Syracuse at all as athletic director.